Hello, this is the eye doctor.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Hello, eye doctor. I am your
Hi.
eye patient.
Hello, eye patient. I've come to test your vision, eye patient.
Please, here is my eyeballs.
By saying I've come, it means I'm making a house visit, actually, and I was wondering if you would put on some coffee and if you had any snowflake cookies in the freezer.
We're all out of snowflake cookies, but I will make you some coffee.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I put on something more comfortable?
I kind of mind, but can your British butlers serve me my coffee after I am done testing your eyes?
Yes, I can serve you your coffee after you're done getting through this bit.
Thank you, Alvin. So, now that I've tested your eyes, eye patient, I can confirm one thing.
What?
You got 20/20 vision!
Fuck you! We made it!
See, the thing is, it had to be done, because how else are you going to welcome in the new decade in
Exactly.
podcasting history?
How else would we know? You know, we made it to 2020, guys. Who knows how much longer it's going to last? We're potentially starting 3 days.
If you judge it by the first few days that have happened in this January, I don't know if we're making it to 2021, but let's enjoy this one while we last.
It's the race to 2021. Welcome back, everybody.
Sprinting out the gates right now. Hopefully we'll maintain the level of enthusiasm we had for that initial opening bit. But we'll see.
Find out.
We shall see.
What show is this?
Well, I am glad you asked, Manimal. It is the brand new decade, and it's only right that we bring back, because it's been a couple weeks since we've done a show, the Manga Raiders Happy Hour podcast. It is episode 191, which is a palindrome, because backwards, same way forwards and all that, which is all good. My name is Simon, better known as Vacant. I'm here in 2020. To my virtual left is Manimal. He's also here in the year 2020.
I'm here, and it was really my intention to get the harmonica to bring it back for the intro, but I forgot it, and now I've already said it, and it's too late. But hello and hi.
Never mind. We'll bring you back next week. That'll be a thing you can look forward to, everyone. Eagerly await the next 7 days. And rounding out the cast tonight, it is the mainstay, man who's been with us since episode 1. He's the American brother. It's Corin.
I am also in 2020.
Really?
Yeah. I
thought you were in a different time zone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are out of that point where we can all joke about not being in the same year.
Yeah, I kind of realized when I looked at the calendar and I was like, hang on a minute, it's now officially the 6th for me, and I don't think time zones exist like 6 days in advance. There's not as much variance in them as that.
I don't know. I mean, why is Chinese New Year not on January 1st then? It must be like behind a month or something, right?
Because January 1st is entirely picked out of a hat. It coincides with no celestial events. How are you supposed to know it's been a year?
Because it's January the 1st. The months have rolled round.
Exactly, but it's completely random. The Chinese New Year is based on a lunar calendar.
Well,
yeah,
ours
but
is
the
based
thing
on a
is,
solar calendar.
when George Washington
not really.
invented time,
It's after the solstice. There's no actual celestial event to base it on.
Well, must have been, because we've got calendars. And why would they lie?
what? Yeah, what was
Look,
the?
I was listening to a podcast which was telling about how Pope Gregory just added 7 days 1 year.
Cheers, Gregory. Fucking respect to that, man.
Shout out.
Do you know what that does? That adds an extra week for us to put a show out, so, be thankful for that.
He wanted us to have an extra show every year, so Gregory is, he's
my boy.
if we had Patreon, his name would be in the credits,
Shout out to my boy Gregory. Just want to say, Big Pope, we call him, Big P-Dog. He's a good boy.
Big P Dog.
Big P-Dog.
That doesn't sound good, I don't know.
Pope G? I mean, Pope G is a pretty cool name, I'm not gonna lie.
Do you ever think, when it comes to, Patreon rewards that people have, do you ever think, your name in the credits or video description is, the dumbest one of all time?
Yeah.
Who would actually read and be like, oh, wow, they got frickin' Bob McBob.
Actually, I want to disagree because...
What? Sorry, I'm playing Bloodborne and I just rolled right out of the map.
Yeah, it's a bit
cool.
glitchy.
But anyway, Bob McBob.
It can be glitchy as shit. But, yeah, I'll disagree with one thing with the Patreon rewards, okay? Because that is pretty dumb, having your name in the credits. But it is something that you get. You give money, and you can see a visible thing where you go, hey, I contributed to that, and they bothered to put my name in it. The worst one is where it's like, if you pledge $1, you will get a thank you from me. Thank you. I thank you for helping me pursue my dream.
Yeah, but it's like pledge $1 and you have my sincerest thanks. You don't even get like a thanks. You probably just get like an automated email.
Yeah, it's an automated email that just gets sent out to you. What I hate, I know we're going to controversial, I know, but I fucking hate someone who has somebody who is in our position. Okay, we're not a big channel, we're not really a big podcast. Do you know what I mean? But we have afforded and bought our own equipment. We, pay for our own shit. And we just run this for fun. I hate people who go on Patreon and go, I have 2 subscribers, and to get better, I need everyone to buy me a good microphone. I need you to buy me a good camera. I'm like, fuck you! Buy it! Earn it!
How about this? How about this? Make something good.
Yeah. Or, here's a thought.
Startup money.
Here's a thought. Yeah, go get a job. Get a job. Save your money. Buy the shit that you want to buy. Like, granted, if you get to the point where you are doing something and you are popular enough that you might be able to strike out on your own if enough people are willing to pay you, by all means, go for it. Go shoot for the moon. But to start up, when the option is just get a job, just fucking save some money, buy yourself a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
They're like £100 for a decent one.
Why would you support someone on Patreon who doesn't even have content or anything and is just asking for better stuff?
Does my head in. It's like, I can't start a channel without all this money. Maybe go get a job. Like, that's all you need.
What are you gonna do? Analyze Umaru?
Yeah.
Like I would definitely help someone start their channel if it was all about that.
I mean, I was gonna say, you are the prime audience for that channel. What are you talking about?
This is really just this soft pitch to see if any of us are interested. Like, actually, I would invest in that as well. If only we knew somebody.
We're gonna find it as somebody's looking to analyze Umaru as a character study.
That's all the channel's going to be about. Hundreds of episodes, and that's it.
Yeah, in-depth study.
Like 11-hour streams about it, where they bring on other experts or people from the street.
If I was going to be one of those buffoons who just makes some kind of like analysis video, it would definitely be like an Umaru one, because I think she's one of the most. I think she's a character that's most worst analyzing out of everything,
Because it is what it is. It's like, well, what does it really mean when she's doing all this? And can you see the more subtle facial expressions indicate
there is more to the character of Umaru than like most characters. Think about it. She lives a double life. She's a piece of shit. Like there's so much.
She's a hamster girl.
Yeah, like what are people gonna analyze? Like friggin' or some Kirito or something? No, Umaru, come on.
Oh, yeah. I believe me, there's enough people have analyzed Kirito.
People have analysed Yuno Gasai as well. Plenty of artists, I'm sure, have analysed that bitch.
In depth.
Yeah.
But that's just, if anyone is out there is looking to make an 11-hour analysis of Umaru's character, I will give you $1.
You'll be on it. Like, you will help. You will be on at least 5 hours of that stream. You will contribute to half of it.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. But we better get into some segments because we've got a busy show lined up today. I think we should be up front with you, everybody. I know we've been away for a couple weeks. So we're in that weird period where the winter season of 2020, of the brand new decade, is just starting, but not much has come out. So we're not really going to discuss it because about 2 things have come out as we are recording. And, we want to get a healthy selection of shows that we can discuss. So we'll be doing that next week. The fall season is pretty much wrapping up as well, but we are going to group that in with next week as well, because we've got a big topic coming in a little while. The big SW one. You know what I mean? No? That's code for something. S-dubs.
Yeah, let's wait. Let's wait until we talk.
Let's wait for that, because we've got to get some out of the way first. We've got to do some. It's a brand new decade. Can you believe New decade, some tips and dips are coming back, boys and girls. Let's do some tips and dips right now. So first of all, tips and dips, boys, round the board. How was Christmas and New Year's? Tip or dip for you?
Well, it was definitely a tip. You know, it was nice. It was good. It was cool. It was fine.
Yeah.
You know, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, and that's all right. You know, and boom. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you don't want a crazy Christmas. You just want a
This is
one.
This is the only year where we haven't watched A Christmas Story. And it's fine because, like, I realize, like, you don't need to keep watching the same shit every year, you know? Like, as much as, like, I love these movies, Christmas Story is in my top 5 movies of all time, you know?
Mhm.
But it's just like, when you feel like you're following a script every year, then that's how you know it's kind of, stupid. You know?
I'm with you.
And why not just do things that you want to do? So...
See, I was in the opposite camp. I didn't think I did enough. The first Christmassy thing that I did, bar obviously, you know, buying presents and all that kind of shit and doing wrapping in there. The first Christmas thing that I felt I did was Christmas Eve night when we watched the Muppets Christmas Carol before bed.
Oh, yes, Muppets Christmas Carol.
But it's too late then, innit? You're trying to capture a feeling when you should have been getting into the mood for a month, but it didn't quite work.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean... Well, we still always watch the 2 Mr. Hanky episodes on Christmas Eve, and we also watch Christmas Vacation, which is one of those movies. It's a good movie. It's not like a watch it every year movie, you know, but it's good. And I like the movie. I like it when I haven't seen it in a little while, you know.
Yeah, much better that way. But yeah, it's
oh yeah,
it was a nice little crimbo, wasn't it? How about you, Matt? How was your holidays?
My holidays are fine. I think probably on the same scale as the Manimal here. Nothing bad, nothing, you know, terribly, like, you know, exciting happened. It was just a regular run-of-the-mill, yep, we had holidays.
It was a 7 out of 10 kind of year thing. Not me top 10 of Christmases, but I can't complain. Wasn't bad.
The top 10 Christmases.
Do you not have said... I said this to my mom, and she looked at me really bizarre, and I was like, do you not have top 10 Christmases? Come on.
I mean, I have top 1. I can think of my absolute favorite from 2003, but
06
from
was
there...
good. 06 was a pretty dope year. I got Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2 or 3, and I got SmackDown v Raw 07, which was pretty hype.
Maybe 2012 when I finally got the Exotoa armor, followed by 2011 when I got the 360. See, now I can do it. Now I can
there
do it.
There you go.
See,
you gotta get a top 10.
2007, like, see, 2009, like, it's actually a lot easier than I thought.
97 or 98, the year that we got both a PS1 and an N64 at the same time on Christmas. Both of those were under the tree. There's a sick fucking Christmas.
We're just ranking it based on the things we got.
Well, it's coming down from kids, because, you know, basically that's what it boils down to.
Well,
like,
think
as a kid,
about it, yeah.
That
like,
made or broke Christmas.
Because in, like, say, like, 2003, do you think I remember the family dinners from 2003? Of course I don't. I remember the things I got, you know? Like...
Yeah, that's what, basically it boils down to that. It's what you bought. And then later on in life, it's how much time you've had off over the festive season, I guess. Like, that's how I rank them now in the last 5 years. I'm like, well, 2017, I was working Christmas night, so that wasn't good, but, 2018, I had all that shit off. But yeah. I don't know. What did you get, guys? Is there something special that came out of the woodworks for you?
Nothing extreme.
I do have a special gift that I would say is probably the number 1 gift I got.
Ooh.
Okay, I got 2 number 1 gifts. The first one was Charles Schumann's American Bar Cocktail Manual, which is very nice.
What the fuck did you just do?
I think he's had an accident.
We got a man down.
He's gonna die. My guess is that his microphone stand collapsed.
Or he collapsed, and he's currently in cardiac arrest. He's under arrest.
I hear a lot of scrambling over there. I assume he's still alive.
So you got your cocktail making set.
Well, it's a book.
You got a manual and what? I missed the second thing. Sorry, I knocked everything over.
It's a cocktail manual by Charles Schumann, who has a very famous cocktail bar in Munich, of all places. But I didn't know about it until a flight home from Munich when I watched the documentary about him, and I was real sad.
Next time.
I don't know if they would have let us in, but, it's how it goes. But after, watching the documentary, and I already had an interest in cocktails, but I've really gotten into cocktails in this second half of this year. So I got his cocktail manual, and it's very nice. A bunch of classic recipes. It has everything in like pencil drawing, so it's not like a bunch of bad images that are going to age out real fast. So it's a very nice little cocktail manual. Oh yeah, it's really good, and like the second half of the book is like all about, it's not about actual recipes. It's about like, here's like a couple pages on this liqueur or this spirit, and like,
that's cool.
Here's some observations about like how a good bartender should behave towards his patron. It's a very interesting book. Just kind of flip through and read little like notes and observations from his time as a bartender.
Yeah.
And then I also got volumes 1 through 3 of The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire.
More reading for the corn.
I love reading. That's something we've established about my character.
Corin the book guy.
Yes, but they're both good. I haven't gone into the Rise and Fall yet, but I shall probably, hopefully this year, get into it. I have a lot of other books I need to read first. But I really like that cocktail manual. I made a few of the things I found in there, and right now I am drinking one of the many non-alcoholic cocktails it lists in there, which is a President's cocktail.
Shout out.
It's really nice. It's very Christmassy too, because it uses both ginger beer and I call it for ginger ale. I put ginger beer and apple cider.
Close enough. Hey, so that sounds festive.
It's there's some oranges in there and some bitters, and that's basically it. So it's cidery, and it's got that ginger bite, and it's got some it smells like Christmas.
I've got to say, a tip, sorry to, skip the queue, but a huge tip. I don't know if I mentioned, I probably did before on the podcast, that every year became a tradition since 2015 to be on the hunt for spiced apple Koppenberg, which was my drink of choice for the festive season. Haven't seen it in 2016, 2017, 2018. Was not expecting to see it this year, but I did. Fucking stocked up on them son of bitches, because I know they're not going to be around for much longer. And bought way too much alcohol this year. I have drank, honestly, more in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 2 years. I just nailing through alcohol.
That's why I'm taking a while off. My plan right now is to take until episode 200, at which point I have a bottle of champagne in the fridge ready to go. I'm going to make every variation of the French 75 in the cocktail manual, which I think there's 3 of them. So I plan to be well and truly drunk.
I was going to say, episode 200 is going to be your ruination, as it were.
It's going to be rough. No word yet if I'm going to puke into my trash can at the end of the episode, but we can always find out.
I'm going to have some good water.
Yeah, I'd better book some time off for this show.
Yeah, we are not recording that one on a Sunday again, okay? No. That's just, the rules is, that's a Saturday show.
Okay, we'll have to record on a Saturday. We'll make some plans for that one, because we were saying before we came to air, episode 209 weeks, guys, or roundabout, and it'll also be coinciding with the 5th year anniversary of the podcast. So we're going to have to do something, because holy fuck, it's been 5 years. And that's crazy to think. I guess because we've been on and off at certain times, and then we used to do it whenever. We used to do it fortnightly, then we did it weekly. Then we've kind of taken a few breaks in 2019, but not this year. Even though
we're just gonna go at it.
Technically, the first episode should have been the first, but as you all know, we take Christmas and New Year's off because that's what we do, and we do drop 12 episodes before that. So there's plenty of content. You won't miss us. Nothing happens in the New Year anyway. There's never any anime news in Christmas and New Year, so don't worry about it. There's no fuck all going down. I've got an announcement to make as well. I am a Switch boy right now. Nintendo Switch boy. That's what I got for Christmas. Playing some Luigi's Mansion 3. Some Pokemon.
How are they? Barely
played Pokemon. It looks cool, because obviously it's based after the UK, or it's supposed to be,
I tell you this. There is, having played Gen 5, which is based on America, or more specifically, Well, the map's based on New York City, but I digress. It's a really different experience playing the Pokemon based on your own country.
Do you know what I find most bizarre is that they've got little quirks in what people say in the dialogue. So, like, they call the TV a telly.
Right.
Or they call them, a load of people say mate, and they call mum with, like, M-U-M rather than M-O-M, which I'm just totally used to reading now, because obviously every game has it as M-O-M. And it's just little bits like that, which I just find amusing. Because, I haven't seen her, mate. I'm like, some Japanese person coded that.
Well, I think they probably have some. I think some British people probably translated it too. I don't know who their translation team is, but I assume they got some British people working for Nintendo.
They needed some. I can't wait for the Australian one. And it's, you want to battle me? You can't.
Oh my god! I don't know if there's going to be an Australia left by the time they get around.
Oh fuck yeah! First dip of the decade. Huge dip.
Australia's not doing well, guys.
That is fucking insane. Like an area nearly the size of England is fucking on fire in Australia. So, I've got a couple of mates out there. They are safe and sound. They've been in touch and said that they're safe, so that's good, and their families and everything. But, fucking, much love, thoughts and prayers to the guys out in Australia down under, my brothers. So, it's bad times there. Hopefully that gets sorted real quick. They need a Blastoise or something down there. That's what they need.
If only. Problems are easy to solve in the Pokemon universe. You just got weird, animals that are also kind of gods. Just making it happen.
I shouldn't be laughing, but I've just got the image of just like some kid running out with a Pokeball going, I'll fix it, and just throwing like a plastic ball at a wall of fire. Like, there we go. I've sorted it, boys. We're all good. But yeah, that's a fucked up situation. Speaking of, Australia's on fire. Iran and America are going to go at it. Going to have a boxing match, I've heard. Trump and someone else.
Don't say it. We don't need this right now. Well,
I love the amount of how I learned that we could potentially be on the brink of World War III was through memes. And I think that's, I would love to see a history book in a couple 100 years.
I don't know.
I don't know how much of our history is learned through memes.
Even if there is a war, I don't think we're going to end up in World War III, but,
Nah, realistically.
I just don't think anyone else supports Iran that much. Unless they go full nuclear on us, but I don't know.
I don't think so. You'll be okay.
Let's hope not.
Welcome to Political Conversation, everyone.
I know. Look, man, a lot's happening right now.
Yeah, we're only 5 days in. Fucking Derek Akora's died, which I've realised now you will have no clue who that is. But he's
not a one.
He is a Scouse was a Scouse spiritual medium who was like a TV celebrity, did some ghost hunting shows, and he was fantastic in the role, shall we say. Don't believe for a second he was legit, but my god, he was funny. Like, Sam, Mary loves dick. Mary loves dick. Is one of his famous quotes, which won't make any sense, but maybe I'll link the YouTube video so everyone will know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, for that respect for Derek Corey's, but with many an hour of entertainment. Anywho, Switch time. Yeah, Switch is good. I've got Zelda Breath of the Wild as well, but I'm not...
That's cool.
I want to plow through Luigi's Mansion 3 before I get into that, because I've heard it's like an 100 or 150 hour plus game, so, don't want to hit that too
long
hard.
From what I understand. I really want to play Breath of the Wild more than any other game I could potentially get on the Switch.
Yeah, my brother bought it because he has a Switch, and he was just like, you need to play this. Like, this is a ridiculously good game, the best game I've played in, 10 years.
Oh yeah, people love it. And it seems real cool. I'm not gonna lie. Sounds real awesome.
Yeah. I'm doing that thing, though. Do you know when people say, this is the best thing I've ever seen? And you go, oh yeah? Well, I'm not gonna play it now. Once everyone tells you something's good, you start resisting, don't you? You're like, well, no.
Well, I mean, I'll put it this way. It may not be the best game ever made, but I've heard from several people who are very big fans of Zelda that it's the best Zelda ever made.
If it's better than Ocarina, because Ocarina of Time is a fucking dope game.
Now, look, I played Ocarina of Time for the first time in college. It's fine. I'm just gonna say it. It's fine. It's not the best game in the world. It's fine. It was a technical achievement. But let me tell you guys, it lives in your memory.
Yeah, I haven't played it again. How long has it been? At least 15 years? I'd say at least.
It's still a lovely and charming and well put together game.
God
but
damn,
it's
just a good game.
It's that way that all the Zeldas are kind of timeless.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, but obviously it aged a lot more than, say, Wind Waker has.
Yeah. Ah, well, I mean, I'd maybe buy the remaster on 3DS and play it. Because I've got the original on the N64, I just haven't picked it up. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta play Breath of the Wild first. But, yeah, Switch games. Got a fuck ton of Junji Ito manga, so, that'll keep me company in the spookiest month of the year, which is January, of course.
Hey man, February, famous time for horror films. Although yeah, a lot of horror films get released in February. They dump them then because,
Valentine's Day. Because then you've got all the couples
Day.
going to the cinema and they'll cling to each other. And
although we've joked on the show, I may unironically end up seeing Sonic for Valentine's Day.
I think Manimal pledged to that as well.
He has. Well, my girlfriend wants to see Birds of Prey on her birthday, which is in the Valentine's Day region of the year. So, might end up seeing Sonic.
Why not?
On Valentine's
if there was
Day.
ever something that screamed romantic film to me, it was Sonic and the blossoming relationship he has with Teddy from Westworld.
I mean, I think we saw Pokemon Go on like our 4th date, so whatever.
I still need to see that Detective Pikachu movie. I've heard it was good. I heard it was
Detective
actually
Pikachu,
okay.
not Pokemon Go. It's really good. It is the best you could hope for.
Fair dues.
Right?
That's all you can, I guess, because it goes on to, like, adaptations. You always think they have a stigma. They have to overcome a stigma. Any adaptation of anything, like, if you hear it and you see it and people go, oh, it's a video game adaptation. It's a book adaptation, a comic book. And it's like, ooh. Maybe comic books not so much with Marvel. Like, they've kind of cracked through that, but certainly, I guess, to segue nicely onto another one, I know when The Witcher was announced for Netflix, there was many a reservation to be had about that show. Because people heard that Henry Cavill was involved as well. But, I am a person who's never never read the books, never played the games. I've got Witcher 3, but I've just never played it. So I was going in totally 100% blind. So I don't know how faithful it is to the canon and the universe of The Witcher. But I must say, it's pretty good. Like, I've really enjoyed watching it.
I haven't gotten started yet because I was finishing up The Mandalorian, but I think I'm on to Witcher next. And everyone I've heard talk about it said, it's good to it's a good show. I'm same about you. I've never read the books, though I would like to. I never played the games, but it seems fun.
I would definitely want to get into it because it seems like it has a really interesting lore. It does suffer from that point where there's like, lofty dialogue and all that kind of thing, but, it's par for the course. If it's a medieval fantasy, you're gonna have that big lofty, sort of, oh, this all means a lot, and destiny and gods and fate. But,
yeah. And I've never quite gone around how it's set in, like, 13.8 or 08 or something, even though there's monsters and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as I'm aware, I know, because I've seen people going, it's based on Poland. Why are there so many black characters? Which there's a lot of black characters, but I'm like, it's also a fantasy land where dragons and monsters and magic are, so...
Also, I just take this moment to remind people, there was a lot of black people in medieval Europe. I don't know if you've looked at a map, but Africa's right there. It's right there, guys.
I was like...
And also the Roman Empire was a super, super multiracial empire. Like, there was a black Roman emperor once. There was a lot of black people all over Europe for a long time before the Middle Ages.
Books come in handy. Roman history. Currency comes through the clutch. But yeah, I don't know why people, I guess because people are just waiting to do the whole... The only thing that... There is one part that sort of annoyed me in it, where a powerful wizard, a very powerful witch, talks about how it's a man's world, and she's only seen as a vessel to carry children, and all this kind of thing, right? which would work, and it's a common theme in like medieval female characters written in a medieval world or a fantasy world based off medieval history, I guess. That makes sense because obviously, it's the king who's in charge and all that kind of shit. But in this world, you meet so many different, like the main queen is the ruling queen. She's a great warrior. There's so many powerful women in this place already. So that kind of rhetoric doesn't make sense because she's like, oh no, it's a man's world. It's like, is it? No, because most of the characters in power that we've seen are female. But, I guess they wanted that point in there.
That could be where it's the history of the real world is running up against the fantasy of The Witcher.
Yeah, because I was like, I've seen that trope.
In The Witcher, there's a lot of strong female characters, I take it, understand, which is great, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, also there's a lot more, powerful women in actual history that we don't really hear about because it definitely came to be dominated by men at some point.
Goddamn George Washington.
I don't think it was George Washington.
I'm blaming him, that
necessarily.
Motherfucker. But
I feel like it predates George Washington.
But yeah, really good. Got nothing but praise for Henry Cavill. I thought he was putting on a strange voice or he had effects on his voice because everyone speaks. There's a lot of mixed accents in there. Scottish, Irish, English, American, French, Swedish or Danish.
That's what happens when you cast a show.
But then you have Henry Cavill.
You can't cast all Polish people.
No. And I like it because it seems to be like, I love when TV shows do that where it's like, these people from this part of the country sound French. These people sound English. These people who are further north sound American. Like, they have their own dialect, and it sort of just helps that realism. But then it's just his voice sticks out like a sore thumb because he's so bassy. I am Geralt of Rivia. Oh, yeah. I'm a powerful man. And then he's just got his bard, who's like a witty Englishman. But, he's great. It's a good show. I would definitely recommend it.
I've heard the bard is a very popular character.
Love that guy. He's a good man. I forget his name now, but he's a good guy. And that song is catchy as fuck. The Toss a Coin to a Witcher. God, I've got that stuck in my head for the last 4 days. But good show. Would recommend it, even if you've never seen it or read a page of the books or played a second of the game. Go check it out because it's enjoyable. It's good fun. That's all my tips out the way and dips. So if anyone else wants to take the floor,
I'll talk about some movies I've seen recently. So I've been doing a lot of that. This morning I watched The Deer Hunter, which is a 3-hour long movie from '78, and I watched it on VHS tape, which added to the charm quite a bit. It's a movie with,
I can imagine.
Oh yeah. It's a movie with Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, and John Cazale, and it's pretty freaking good. Cause it's basically just about how, the war affects them and stuff, because the first hour of the movie is just setting up the small town Pennsylvania steel worker setting, and then there's this really long wedding scene where all they're just getting wasted and shit, and they go hunting, but you see I don't know, it sets up this little community and all the characters well, and then boom, 3 of them are in Vietnam, and the famous scene is where they're forced to play Russian roulette, which was copied in Black Ops and all that shit. It's the scene that anyone would know from the movie. And it's fucking insane. Again, De Niro, I've found, is the greatest actor of all time because he doesn't act. He becomes the characters in these movies, and it's just holy fuck. Every single time that guy's on screen, it's just amazing. And
I might append that to De Niro was the greatest actor of all time.
Okay, I'm not talking about Bad Grandpa and shit. I'm talking about his actual.
He's a very good actor, yes.
I'm talking about why people talk about him, because when you watch these movies, it's holy fuck. It's it's other level shit, and because and then when he comes back home and you just see how it affects him and he becomes disconnected and the sense of duty and he has to go back to get his bro. And Christopher Walken, I never thought he was a good actor. I always thought he was a joke. Because, he has that weird alien face and the way he talks and stuff. So I never actually thought he was in a movie and good. But apparently he was.
Now Christopher Walken has his chops. He can really, he definitely has a type.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's like a Nicolas Cage or Keanu Reeves. They have a very specific type that they play, and when they play it, they're the best in the world at it.
Yeah, like the final scene, the final Russian roulette scene with him and De Niro is absolutely incredible in this movie, and they were both just fantastic. It was a good film, you know. It's any 3-hour movie is always kind of like okay, even if it's really good. But I find it works when it's on VHS tape. You know, when you get like you get to just like the one tape finishes, and you have your washroom break, get some snacks, and come back. You know, it divides it nicely.
You love a good intermission.
Oh yeah. And then I watched Eraserhead, which is easily the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. This is actually a fucking amazing movie. It's genuinely scary, and it has this absolutely insane imagery that is just holy fuck. Like, I think everyone knows this movie just from like the screenshot of the guy with his crazy hair and stuff like that. So,
I'll be honest, that's kind of all I really know about it. I've never seen.
That's all I ever knew. That's all I ever knew is just the title and the guy. But then you watch it, and this movie's fucking crazy. The whole thing is basically a nightmare of a guy who's afraid of fatherhood. So the baby in this movie is like the scariest thing of all time. It's like this fucking demented fish creature that's in bandages, and it just like. And this is the thing, right? Like, if you made a movie like this nowadays, it would suck so bad because it would all be CG and this and that. But in this movie, like, because it's actually a real thing, it's fucking scary. And the scene where oh fuck, this movie just has so many weird scenes, and because the whole thing is just like a nightmare.
I know what you're gonna say.
Oh yeah, fuck, that was bad.
So it's not a first date movie.
No,
what
no.
You're saying.
I do not. Well. I don't recommend watching this movie unless you want to like actually get scared, because the thing is it creates this atmosphere with the extreme use of ambient sounds, because there's no soundtrack, you know, and it's a very slow movie, and the whole time this guy's walking around like he has no idea what's going on. It's all this crazy shit's happening, but it's such a fucking good movie. But it's just like you watch it and you're like, oh fuck, oh Jesus. And I also watched A Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino and John Cazale. Fuck, Pacino was absolutely amazing in this movie. Like, holy shit. And, I mean, it's a really good movie anyway. You know, it's one where the bank robbery goes wrong, and now they're surrounded, and they got to figure out how to get out of it. But they're just a bunch of idiots. Like, you know, they're not professional bank robbers or anything. And it's one of those movies that's funny, not because it has jokes, but because it's just natural things that come up in the situation. And, it's just a fucking good movie. I keep saying that, I know, but like, you know, what else can you say? And, well, I've seen a lot, so I'll just like also mention Awakenings with De Niro and Robin Williams. It's the one based on a true story where, the people like have the weird disease really like freeze up, and then Robin Williams' character finds a way to cure them, so they like come back to life after like 30 years. And this is all based on a real story and everything. And this movie, like, I didn't cry, but I was tearing up in the end, you know. It was a fucking nice movie. And it had a really
single manly tear.
Well, yeah, like, it had a simple message about, you know, just, appreciating life and, no, like, appreciating life, you know, and shit like that. When you got these guys who have had life taken away from them and shit like that, and then they come back and say, like, wow, you guys take this all for granted and this and that. And again, De Niro, fuck, the best ever. Like, he's so fucking good in this movie. It's insane. You know, like, holy shit. And, yeah, I don't know, those are a few of the new segment of movie reviews.
Movie review? Well, you had like 3 weeks worth stored up, so. You know.
Well, the thing is, when I do movie reviews, it mostly consists of me saying, holy fuck, holy shit, this was so good. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how good De Niro was in this movie. But that's just because, like, since I never really watched a lot of movies, and I never watched a lot of like older movies and stuff like that, and like classics and shit. So now there's just so much to watch, and it's exciting, you know. It's like when you get into something and you find there's so much beyond the surface. You know?
Yeah. Well, man, there's a century of films pretty much knocking around now, so there's some good ones.
Yeah, like, discovering that like Citizen Kane and Casablanca are actually like extremely good movies as well and still hold up today. Just kind of, you know, that's a pretentious thing, like we were saying, to say, oh, Citizen Kane, but then you watch it, you're like, oh, this is a fucking good-ass movie. And you watch Casablanca, and you're like, the Humphrey Bogart's cool as fuck, holy.
Oh yeah, Humphrey Bogart's great.
Shit.
And even the Maltese Falcon, watched that one as well. That was pretty good too. It was a little harder to follow, but he was also he's basically the same character in that movie, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
And of course, there's another movie, but we're not going to talk about it until later. And I have distinctly different things to say about that movie, but we're not going to talk about it till later. So
Yeah.
So let's hear another tip or dip.
I got a tip of sorts. I had my brother, my girlfriend, and our fair erstwhile host, Nairbons, better known as Brian, over for a little bit of Christmas dinner. So I got up this morning and I just cooked. I cooked and I cooked and I cooked. And I made myself an entire Christmas dinner right here in early July.
Early July?
January.
There
whatever month of the year it is.
I thought that was a joke because like it was hot over there or something, and you're like, oh yeah, it's so hot, might as well be July.
I mean, it's pretty warm. Global warming ain't good, man. It's real fucked up. But no, I roasted a chicken. I made mashed potatoes. I made green beans. I made some stuffing, and I even made pie, and I whipped my own whipped cream. And let me tell you, whipping your own whipped cream is a great way to get some anger out if you really need to, because you just have to go fucking ham on a whisk for a while.
Fucking whip that shit.
I don't know. It's just go, 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 man. That's all there is to it. But I made it, and it stuck, and it was delicious. And now I have a whipped cream recipe, so that's fun.
There you go. Well, I hope Brian enjoyed it. Hopefully Brian will be back with us soon.
He did. He if he wasn't taking my brother home, then he probably would have been.
Aw. Noble sacrifice there. But that's okay. We'll surely have him on before the January's end. You had me almost saying July then. Definitely should hopefully be on before July.
You never know. You never know.
Hopefully we can get him for 200.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, you just know we've got to sort of get everybody in for 200. I'm kind of hoping, a tip, speaking of which, this is a segue into a tip on being more active on the forum. Either, for me, getting back onto Manga Raiders, the forum itself, where it all began. Hopefully we'll find some people there who may want to come onto the show in the future. Who knows? Because that's what we used to do. And it made for some fun times when you go back through the archives and there's people like Fireblazer and stuff, and you're like, holy shit,
oh, fuck,
I forgot
yeah,
they were
right.
on. Yeah, Malua as well.
That's right.
Well, Malua's quite a regular guest, but yeah, Vio. God, who else did we have on? Jackhammer. White
shout out to Devil Pogo Stick in the gym. We'll never ever forget the episode you were on when you went to the gym.
Podcasting from the gym. That's what our show is all about. If there was ever anything, if anyone ever wanted us to sum it up,
podcasting
that's the kind of thing
gym.
it is. Or podcasting while making a stir fry.
Or going through the shower. And maybe masturbating? We never quite figured that one out.
When I first did my main episode with Pipus and Vio, it was like episode 25. I thought it was hardcore that I was eating a bagel at the end of the episode.
Beginning of the episode.
Well, no, it was cut into the beginning of the episode, but it was actually from the end of the episode.
Oh, that's some trickery there, because literally it starts
a little look behind the scenes here at Happy Hour HQ.
See, that's when I thought I had some kind of etiquette to uphold, and now I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Look, about the time where you started spending half the episode in the background sitting on an amp eating cereal.
Yeah,
that was a bit of a plot twist.
That was a recurring bit.
Wait
for
a second.
6 months.
So you walking away from your mic and narrating you making a bagel, making a sandwich, was you upholding some etiquette?
No, I was saying I was going against it. I was like, I feel like I was being hardcore. I was like,
okay,
I'm breaking all the rules of podcasting. Like, since that was like the episode, that was the first main episode I was on besides the 12 days episode. And I was like, I'm going to make it hardcore. And I tried hard to make the best episode of all time.
That was when we were at LAGC, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that
and
was when we were at LAGC.
Oh, it was, yeah. I wanted to make something that was better than anything you guys made. I tried a little hard. And then now I'm just here, so it's, it's a little different. But, Pipus isn't, where are you?
R.I.P. No, well, hopefully not R.I.P.
Yeah, I hope not.
Hopefully not. Pipus, if you are alive, please tell us.
You're not listening to this, but man, I was sad that you weren't on to do the 2019 music-sode. If you're out there,
I'm sure we will find him. Who's to say you can't just do a look back of the decade music-sode with him randomly, and we'll just throw it up. Doesn't even have to be a 12 days.
If he comes online, then
you can grab him. He's a busy.
This is how people felt. This is how people feel, like the classic meme of like when your Halo 3 friends are online for the last time,
You never know, do you? You never know. Think of all the soldiers that we've lost.
Yeah.
Although some people have come back, like we've gone back to the forum. Fucking Gelmra's come back as well. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
he's back.
Always a plot twist.
Don't know how long, but
no one ever truly leaves, is what I've honestly started to believe.
Told us. Yeah. No one has ever truly gone.
No, we're like the Overlook Hotel.
Like the Mosby Hotel. Except it's burned down a few times.
Mr. Mosby.
But yeah, that's...
there he is, on the horizon, voice carried by the wind.
You can hear him. He ain't here, but you can hear him.
Yeah, he might... Maybe a Mr. Mosby episode will come out in this year. In fact,
maybe. We average one about one a year, honestly.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's a perfect time to do one when I go to Japan in June, because I'll be
yeah,
for
that's
a few
right.
weeks. So you guys will have to take the reins and do everything. So
okay, all right, but
oh yeah, we're gonna let Mosby out of jail. Chink 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 chink. That's his tin cup against them jail bars. Tink 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 tink.
Oh, is that the latest? Did he get arrested?
He got last. Well, it was arson. You see.
Oh, it's him who burned down the hotel during a soap convention.
Collecting the insurance money.
Okay. The Mosby narrative. I'll see. Got to keep it going.
See, the thing is, I came up with all this, but I forgot it, and now that you say it, that sounds like something that I would have done, so I'm like, okay, I think that's what happened.
You came up with a soap
I don't know if that
thing.
is what happened, but...
It was
definitely a soap convention. It burned down. I don't remember going to jail. That's the new canon, though. We're retconning that.
Mr. Mosby burning down the soap convention sounds like something that I would have come up with, but I'm not 100% about it.
I know there was a fire, and I know that there was, again, like a soap convention. Because you went on like a 5-minute tirade as Mr. Mosby talking about soap.
I think that was Corin's brother. That was just our cold open, is how that started.
You were just talking to Corin's brother about soap.
He was on that episode. That's right.
Yeah, because I listened to it. I don't know what. I can't remember why I wasn't on it. I was unavailable, so I checked it out.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
because he gets it. That's a core. That's what you're like, hibiscus and orange peel.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, yeah, but
yeah.
Right, okay, just keep tuning in, everyone. Who knows what kind of shit's gonna go down?
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling good about this year. I'm feeling really pumped about the podcast.
You know what the Manimal is gonna do? He's gonna watch seasonal shows. He's gonna post about them again.
Yeah, it does help when 33% of the show does participate. Like when everyone participates and watches stuff, it helps massively.
Like I was just saying, I never, for the last 2 years, I've just kind of been like, I don't know, weird about this and just been like, no, I'm not, anime's done. It's over. It's done. It's finished. I was like, somehow, like, what the last seasonal show that I completed was, what was it called? The one where they were at the cafe.
Place in the Universe? No?
No. I watched that one all the way through, so I didn't watch it when it was airing. The one, what the fuck was it called? The moment they're at the cafe.
It's on the tip of my
S-Blend
tongue.
or Blend S.
Blend S. Glendass was the last like show that I watched every week, not like Place Further in the Universe and After the Rain, but one that I watched like week by week.
Sweet.
But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna find if there's good shows if I don't watch them. So how can I just give up and say that it's reached its peak when I don't even know? I can't even back up my own statements.
Yeah, there you go. You never know if you don't try. But yeah, we'll be delving deep into the winter season and talking about that shizzle next week, because there's a few shows that have caught our eyes. It's first season of the decade. Let's see if it kicks off the right way. There's some interesting ones. I'm interested in the one where it's the two scientists who are trying to logically and scientifically explain why they're infatuated and want to fuck each other. It could be funny.
Yeah, I do want to watch that one. I want to watch the one about the Lizard Man. Those look good. I know it's kind of dumb, but I want to watch the one about the monster girls that talk about, whatever. Which girl is best girl?
Reviews, or whatever it's called. Yeah. No, we're going to watch that. That's a given. Reviews. We are watching that one.
We all
not watch that one.
It's all mandatory for everyone to watch Nekopara. Yeah. Like it's come this far. We gotta watch it.
You want me to watch Nekopara?
I will watch Nekopara. We will all watch Nekopara.
We gotta at least watch episode 1 just because.
Okay. I don't think it's going to be that funny. I just think it's
probably going to be mediocre. And then there's 22/7, which I'm only watching for Sally and Mackie, but the character designs look nice. But I'm enough of a, fan of Sally's that I just gotta watch the show. Yeah, Mackie-holic, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's other ones, and we'll talk about them next week.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this week. I'll do a book review right here.
Okay.
Oh, boom.
Okay, so I've been reading the Foundation series by Asimov, the acclaimed writer, and I just finished the 4th book, Foundation's Edge, which is like 427 pages, so that was like the most I've read, definitely. It was good. The other books were very, they jumped around and they never focused on characters enough because Asimov doesn't know how to write characters. He's really good at coming up with ideas and settings and cool shit, but not characters. But this book was better at that because it focused on the same characters for the entire book. I feel
personally attacked right now.
Why?
Are you Isaac Asimov?
I feel my strong suits are more world building than characters and dialogue.
I mean that's everyone has their strong suits. I know my best bit is dialogue. That's what I excel at. But other things not so much.
Asimov is really good at writing because your eyes rip through this book like I've never seen in anything else before. And Foundation's Edge, there were parts where the plot was going and you're like, cool, shit's happening. And then for 20 pages he describes something mundane and the plot just stops. It just let me describe.
Effect.
Yeah, it's like
Asimov has the Tolkien problem.
Yeah. He's like, let me describe in great detail how the ship's computer works and how this shit happens. It's like, man, I just want to know what the fuck's gonna happen next in this story. They're gonna find Earth. There's robots now. I mean, there was robots in Prelude to Foundation, but in this book they're talking about robots and.
I think you might like Manimal. We've discussed on the show the extra credits, guys.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think so. Sure we have.
Yeah, when they did the whole thing about, Nazi characters in video games.
Ah, yeah.
Jog your memory?
Video. Yeah, that was super
Well, they have a separate series called Extra Sci-Fi in which they talk about, foundational sci-fi stories. Okay. They have a whole bit on Asimov and, where he fits into, sci-fi writing of the time and what he inspired and worked on. That might be something for you to check out now that you're gone through all of this.
Yeah, now I know what they're talking about. But, Foundation's Edge in the end was pretty good. And now I'm on the last book. So there's, 7 books. And now I'm like, I've almost read a whole series of books. This is unprecedented. And I'm also like, I want to read more because I just like reading.
See, this is how it starts. You joke at me for being a big reader. This is how it starts.
Oh yeah, I know, and I'm like, I'm gonna read this, and then, the Thrawn books, that trilogy, which
The new ones or the old ones?
Oh, the old ones, obviously. Not reading any of that new Star Wars shit. Fuck that.
Well, the new Thrawn trilogy is written by the same dude who wrote the old Thrawn trilogy, so.
Oh, well, the franchise is dead, so I'm gonna stick with the old shit. And then I want to, read the iRobot books as well, because, Asimov has all this shit in his own universe, so it all kind of connects.
Yeah.
And not like iRobot, like Will Smith, not that.
Hey, that's a great movie. Don't you dare.
I never watched it.
It's a totally fine movie. Alan Tudyk's good as the robot.
God. Yeah, no, that's a good film, if I remember. I mean, I haven't watched it since 2004 when it came out, but I remember it was entertaining.
See, I watched that one actually a lot because it was my first DVD.
Ah.
So, you got a fancy new DVD. You gotta watch that
pop that shit in a few times.
It was that era, definitely. But, that's all I got for, tips and dips, I would say.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna say a tip for the podcast in general. Like I say, got a good feeling about this year. We've got plenty planned already and in the works. I want to do more sort of writing and artist. I know we say this every year, but definitely more writing talk, because it's really interesting. I think we all get into it when we talk about writing and shizzle.
Yeah, no, we definitely do. And this, this is the open call. If you're on the forum and you're listening, or if you're a listener, let's say, and you're listening and you're a writer or an artist, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Hit us up on the Twitter DMs. I think that's a thing people do on Twitter. But, leave a comment.
Yeah, we literally do not care who's on the show. Like, we have no barometer or protocol. If you want to be on, jump on. I mean, if you're a dick, we'll kick you, but,
Yeah, them's the rules.
It is what it is. Yeah.
If you're an asshole, we'll boot your ass. Don't get us wrong here. You don't have carte blanche. But we'll have you on.
Yeah, we'll have give anyone a platform. That's my thing. Anyone at all.
We won't give anyone a platform. If you want to be on, you gotta line us out on what you're gonna do first.
Yeah. Well, like I say, forum members, anyone's welcome. This was made for you people originally. So anyone can jump on, anyone can hop on, anyone can record anything. But yeah, definitely want to do more writing and artist discussions, because I think it's something that we love talking about, and always a limitless supply of content there. And don't forget as well, next week, another thing we're going to do is it's that time of year again. The Crunchyroll Awards are in full swing. You're damn right we're going to do our predictions.
So much fun it was last year doing that thing live.
Oh man, I can't even say anything if I haven't watched the shows, but I just because it's the Crunchyroll Awards, I automatically hate them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do our predictions again because it was funny to do little predictions.
Remember the greatest snub that they did in 2016 when Hero of the Year wasn't Onaru Garu?
Yeah. Well, Crunchyroll, shit.
Like, that was probably the greatest snub in world history.
It's their fan base.
Yeah.
It's the people who voted. People who watch Crunchyroll are absolute dickheads.
What could be?
Yeah, fuck you, Simon.
Yeah.
Fuck me too.
Fuckers. All you people.
We're the problem.
We are the problem. We are part of the problem, but I will blame the rest of the problem as well. But yeah, we'll be doing that as well. And I suppose we got to do some kind of year-end. Shall we bother with year-end awards?
Well, you know what the worst year-end awards is? Do you see what the Funimation Best Anime of the Decade was voted?
I thought that was a joke. Don't tell me that was legit.
Yeah, fucking Demon Slayer. Like, what the fuck?
No.
People voted for that and probably...
Slayer, the one just came out this summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was a good show, but what else did Funimation do this decade? Off the top of your head.
Like,
what was
Gates and Madoka. And I don't know if they did Madoka, but...
I don't know if they did Madoka.
I'm just thinking
There was a lot. I feel like...
thinking of series in general.
Also, I think Madoka actually came out in 2009.
It was 2010.
Really?
I looked it up when I was doing the best of the decade list.
Yeah, we did. There was a lot of big shows that came out in the decade.
Yeah, the point is,
I feel like that's a lot of recency bias.
Anybody who's gonna vote,
it definitely
Demon
is.
Slayer.
Don't get me wrong, Demon Slayer is a great show. I know you guys didn't watch it, but I did. It's a real good show.
But the best of the decade is that's just the most. Like, have you even seen more than 5 shows?
See, here's the thing. I think most of the people voting on the list are the younger crowd, let's say, and
then it
maybe
should have been Boruto.
Didn't actually watch Steins Gate 10 years ago.
Well, shame on them for not seeing that banana get microwaved.
I think Banana Girl should have won. Aho Girl.
Oh yes.
Oh, it should have been animated.
Aho Girl, man.
A girl gets German suplexed by a boy in the first 5 minutes. That, if you want me on board on a show, that's what that gets me invested right off the bat, like that.
Do you remember a show we forgot to mention, like when we were doing our roundup of good shows?
Which
Geo
one?
School Road never got brought up, and that was delightful.
Oh yeah, I didn't finish it, but I remember watching a few episodes and it was cool.
Man, we watched it together. The 3 of us watched it in person.
Did.
In the same room.
We had that magical summer in July where we came together and we watched anime in Brian's living room.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool. We watched the finale of Darling in the Franxx all together.
And it
Why isn't Darling in the Franxx on the list?
It made equal amounts of sense to everyone involved, even the people who hadn't watched the show.
Yeah, I gotta love that.
What a piece of shit that was. God damn, that was a terrible show. Anyway.
But oh man, okay. Can we have the juicy conversation now?
Alright, let's get into it. We're an hour into the show. Okay guys. The remainder of this is gonna be about the biggest movie of the decade. Star Wars. Yeah. Episode 9, Rise of the Skywalkers.
This movie was fucking shit, and this whole trilogy should have never happened.
Let's dial it back.
I was going to say, normally, you introduce the film and all that kind of shit.
Everyone knows the film. It was a fucking disaster. This movie had no thought into it. It just fucking opens and it's like, here's the Emperor. We've never built up to this shit. It's like, here's shit we never built up to, and here's an excuse for never having planned this shit up. And here we are, mistreating literally the most popular film franchise of all time, and yet we can't coherently put a vision for a trilogy together in this fan fiction bullshit.
Manimal has a lot of feelings about this. Let's set it up. Let's give somewhat of setup.
I just want to give some structure to this conversation.
Yeah, because this is going to get passionate. I've not seen it, but I've read all the spoilers, read all the leaks, all that kind of shit. You two have both seen it once, I believe.
And only once.
And only once. It's only just came out in the last couple of weeks. I don't know, 19, 20 or something like that. It's all been leading up to this. 42 years in the making. Well, whatever it is. 38, I don't know. I can't believe they've said that.
Yeah, like 40 plus. But,
what a fucking joke.
If they have a little, dialogue here, let's, Manimal, for the sake of it, give a score out of 10.
0.
Ooh.
That's,
all they tried to do was bait you with nostalgia. All they tried to do was make you forget that this movie was shit by being, oh look, it's Lando doing the same thing he did in the other movie.
This is not a productive conversation.
All they tried to do was fucking bait you into thinking that you were watching a good movie, just so you could forget how much of a disaster this whole thing was.
Okay. So,
and then I was going to say, tell us the thing you disliked the most about the movie, and give us one thing you did like.
Well, okay, the worst part is bring back the Emperor. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. The entire point of the movies was to bring balance to the Force, and the way that Anakin brought balance to the Force was by destroying the Emperor. And I was like, oh yeah, he survived that big explosion. And of course they don't tell you why. And all he does, he appears as like some Halloween decoration with like these stupid eyes and shit. He's like, hey, here's my great plan. Like, what the fuck? Like, talk about not building up to anything.
That's my first question.
Any idea?
That's a question as a person who's not watched the movie. Do they properly explain them? Because I watched the Red Letter Media review that they did.
All it does is just say in the opening scroll that he's back, and then suddenly he appears like, where the
It's in the opening scroll!
He is. Well, Be honest, he was in the trailer. No, there was a throwaway line of dialogue, something Sith sorcery, is basically how it went.
So, is it because in the Red Letter Media one really confused me, because I thought, judging from what I read and the trailer and everything, I thought he had survived it, Palpatine, he'd survived it through his incredible Sith powers, he'd somehow, I don't know, created a fucking force bubble through space and managed to get himself back.
That's basically what they say, is that because Force Sith evil power something, he managed to survive.
Review, they say, or at least I think Mike says, he believes that his body was destroyed, but he was like a clone of Palpatine, and he has multiple clone bodies of himself. Is that ever
not made clear? Because there is, when they first, at the very beginning when he shows up, the camera pans past, and there's like a bunch of like tubes full of Snoke clones.
Right.
So I think that's where. The thing is, I won't hate on the movie that much for it, because the original expanded universe already did that like 6 times.
Really?
Yeah. Palpatine getting cloned was its own trope.
There was no build up to this. They just throw it at you because they just did it. They had no idea what they were doing.
I will excuse that.
Look, the whole thing was a ill-conceived mess of a franchise reboot. But we're not discussing the franchise as a whole, the whole trilogy. We're just discussing the film.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
It's so fucking. It's such a joke. It's a comedy. He's like, the final order begins, and he's just suddenly he's like, I planned everything. Like, what the fuck?
To play devil's advocate, for J.J. Abrams, what would you have done? Because, I mean, this obviously goes to the franchise where they didn't have a fucking plan throughout each episode.
Oh yeah,
I mean, carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they wanted.
This movie makes The Last Jedi worse, because all he kind of tries to do is be like, okay, that one didn't really happen, so let's just kind of make it. It's like you watch this movie and you're like, okay, there's something missing here. There's like a whole movie missing after The Force Awakens, you know? Because it attempts to bring that tone back.
Yeah.
You know, but it can't because of what happened in the last movie.
I'm assuming that when J.J. Abrams did Episode 7, he was intending Snoke to be the Emperor, the big bad throughout it, and obviously then, you know, Kylo
I would assume so. Yeah. I wouldn't have brought the Emperor back. I would have resurrected Snoke and pulled the same hand-wavy nonsense, or even just had that Snoke was a failed Emperor clone. I think that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of an interesting twist on what we had seen in the original EU, which has sort of been this whole trilogy's gimmick, is what if we do a twist on the original expanded universe?
Yeah.
And if Snoke was like, oh, the Emperor had a plan to like clone himself in case he died, but then it went bad, so we got a bunch of weird Snokes. That would be kind of
That'd be cool.
But
there was like 5 other Snokes, or 5 other Emperor clones just knocking around. Yeah, because I thought he was kind of limited, because what I assume he envisioned to be his big bad died in Episode 8, so when he got brought on, it's like, what do you do? The Emperor. But I agree that it cheapens everything that comes before it, because you're like, Darth Vader died for
the entire point. Right. The entire point of the other movies is that's how he brought balance, and now it's like, oh yeah, that was fucking worth nothing. Yeah, he's back. Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, now Rey can do
balance to the Force.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
so I get that it kind of ruins.
Yeah, you watch this and you're like, why the fuck did they make these movies besides money? I mean, obviously that's why, but there's no creative reason to justify the creation of these movies.
There's not a whole lot of artistic integrity in the whole thing. I still think that Last Jedi is the best of the bunch. I know that may be a controversial opinion.
Well, I
rather did like The Last Jedi. I thought Rian Johnson had done some interesting things, and at the very least, he tried to do something new and interesting.
I can take doing something new, but I can't take disgracing characters like Luke and shit like that.
I don't know if he was disgraced. I think that's a personal opinion.
Oh yeah, just trying to kill his grandson in his sleep because he had some bad thoughts.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. That was the idea.
Good, but the idea is that, and I don't think it was right across, but I think the idea was that, you know, you're constantly being tested, and even if you're, you know, done really well in the past, you can still fail. I think that's the point of that, is that nobody's perfect, and even if you succeeded once, it doesn't mean you'll succeed the next time.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll give you that at least the movie was trying to get some themes across, which is more that I could say about this one.
Yeah, no. At least I still feel like Rian Johnson's attempts had a soul, and J.J. Abrams didn't.
I mean,
hey, episode 7
like
was
I
great.
said, I do still think that episode 7 was good. Like, but it just makes you look at it like
pandering to the original films and just making them again and doing all nostalgia trip. This one was a lot less of that than episode 7 was. Episode 7 was nothing but that.
Episode 7 was my favorite out of this trilogy.
I
Absolutely, hands down.
I feel like this movie put in nostalgic stuff to distract you, because like the whole final confrontation was so shit, but it just repeats like, look at your friends. Like, it just repeats shit from Return of the Jedi, and then, Lando's coming at the Millennium Falcon.
It did that same bullshit too of, if you kill me, it means you're the evil one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, lol. See you later. Like, to reward viewers of the video, because I've realized I've done literally nothing with the video, I've put a looping gif of the horse charge thing on a Star Destroyer.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So enjoy that, everybody. Can someone explain that to me? Does that make sense in the movie, or does it look stupid in the movie?
Okay, so they pull up on a different moon of Endor.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's where part of the Death Star is crashed, as we see in the trailer. And they end up meeting a squadron of stormtroopers who defected. And they happen to have horse-like animals that they ride around on. Okay. So later in the big ultimate battle, I should say, not penultimate battle, they bring those dudes along, and they bring their horses with them.
Because why not in a space battle?
Because it looks cool to ride horses on a spaceship. Let's be honest. That was cool. They had a lot of real cool-looking moments in there.
I don't know, maybe in the context of the film, but when I saw it in the trailer, I died at that point. I was like, oh my god.
You know what the worst thing about these movies are? Like, the lightsaber fights mean nothing. Like, even the one in this movie was just stupid. All they're doing is like, you were fighting, I guess. This is a lightsaber fight. Star Wars was a lightsaber fight, I guess.
Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, it makes me sad, because I felt like the lightsaber fight in 7 actually had some, like, actual merit to it.
Yeah, like,
actually,
you felt like weight, and it felt like it had, like, a reason to be there, and it was good.
That was the perfect lightsaber. That's my favorite lightsaber duels that I've seen, but bar one big thing where Finn gets slashed and stuff, and it doesn't do as much damage as you would expect. Like, the lightsabers don't. They seem to have been nerfed a little bit, which kind of annoyed me, but...
it's not a deep cut, I think, is how it was played.
Yeah.
Because I still think what these movies really lost, and that even the prequels managed to get right, is we want to see the goddamn lightsaber fight. We don't want to be 2 inches away with the camera, having all the details obscured, and cutting every half a second.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I feel
pull back. I want them to do a little actual, have a movie fight.
I feel like they totally like fucked up like Kylo's character, and because he actually had like something interesting going. He actually had like some kind of interesting struggle going and stuff,
Yeah,
but he just got fucked.
He was going somewhere in the last one, and this one he kind of reset. And he's like, actually, yes, maybe I will serve a master again, even though I just had a whole movie about how I'm not going to serve masters anymore.
And I feel like most of the movie was just him looking and doing that one expression. His, like, pained angst expression.
Poor Adam Driver.
Yeah.
Now, he knows what Hayden Christensen went through now.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I can't do an Adam Driver impression, but he's just like, what do you mean? You just want me to stand here and stare?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what my character would do. I don't know what J.J. Abrams sounds like, but I'm sure it would be equally silly. I don't like J.J. Abrams.
Hey, get yourself on here, everybody. Ray, you look real good. Hey.
He feels so clinical. It's when he likes doing sci-fi, but he likes that clinical sci-fi, which kind of works a bit better for like Star Trek, but not so much Star Wars.
He's a much better director than he is a writer, I think is safe to say, when it comes to the nitty-gritty.
It would have been common sense if they had a good writer come up with a plan for these movies, so they didn't just have to be like, fuck.
Just have one. Just Just have one cohesive team who came up with
I know. They should have had,
like,
I don't care. You can switch directors all you want. You should have one writer.
Yes.
Like, okay, like, look, I'll
or
be
a producer
real,
who oversaw all of it.
I'll be real. I'm being a little overly dramatic, you know?
Yeah.
A little?
This isn't like the worst movie you've seen in your life. In fact, you know, there are parts where you kind of forget, and then you just,
it's certainly
dumb.
still a fun movie. It's not the perfect Star Wars movie by a long shot, but it's still a fun movie. You're still going to go into this thing and have a fun time.
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure.
I mean, at the end of the movie, it's nonsense, but the Emperor comes back to full power and fucking force lightnings an entire, like, flotilla of spaceships out of the sky, and it's like, it's so dumb. It came
Wait,
right
is that the leaked screen cap of where he has his arms? And I saw this a couple of months ago. He has his arms. He's sitting in a throne. He has his arms straight up in the air, and lightning's just shooting out of his hands into the sky.
He is lightning an entire space battle, and it's dumb, but it's the kind of dumb I love.
That's brilliant.
From Star Wars. It's straight out of The Force Awakens.
That's brilliant.
I just feel like they could have, I felt like all they did, it's almost like they resurrected old clips of him for this movie, like how he repeats the exact same line about how the dark side leads to many abilities. Like he repeats that line. He even says "do it" in this movie. Like they're just,
they just pulled. I forget the actor's name, but they basically just pulled him out and said, "Do the lines you did."
Do the lines.
And that's what he did, but it's just like it's such a waste, and it was dumb. Like at no point in this movie did it feel like it had any meaning or anything that made you go, "Oh fuck!" There was never
a forgettable comic book of a Star Wars.
Yeah, like there were never any stakes. There was never any point in this movie where it felt like there was great emotion or something was gonna just, oh my god. The only quote emotional part could be when you think Chewbacca died, but he didn't.
Okay, that scared the shit out of me for a second. Because I was like, oh fuck, J.J. Abrams just did Chewbacca the worst way possible.
And I got mad. I was like, don't tell me that they just killed him like that. I swear to God, this was the worst movie ever if they just did that.
If Chewie was really dead, I would have walked out, man.
That would have been disgraceful.
That would have been horrible.
And like, what's up with this trilogy and fucking R2-D2? Like, he doesn't get to do anything.
Oh, because they can sell more robot toys if they don't use them that much.
Yeah, but it's sad. Like, I mean, here we are in the prequels where he's like apparently the most badass, indestructible thing ever that could take down like 5 super battle droids.
It's ridiculous. I will ask. There's one thing in this film that I really want to get to.
Yes.
Palpatine got it on, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. So okay, Rey being the Emperor's like granddaughter, it makes you think. Okay, when
potentially any time during the Imperial period,
and like if he had a son, wouldn't he make his son Darth Vader? Like, wouldn't he would be like so powerful? Like, what the fuck? Why would he even need Darth Vader?
Well, that's what they laid out, right? So at the beginning, when they show Rey's parents for a split second, they are roughly 30s-ish age-wise.
Yeah.
And Rey is, I think, in her 20s or something.
Yeah, early 20s. Probably late teens. I don't know.
No, I think she's older than that. I mean, how old's the actor? But either way, 20-something. And, Kylo's like 30s and Poe is the oldest at like 35 or something.
Wait.
What?
Kylo's in his 30s?
Kylo, I don't know how old is Adam Driver.
Rey is apparently 19 years old.
Oh, bullshit.
Star Wars. Sci-fi stackexchange.com. However, Ben is 29 years old at the time of Force Awakens. Okay, there you go.
I call bullshit on her being 19. Daisy Ridley's not that young. There's no.
Oh no, the actor isn't going to be that young. But since when were the actors
but Star Wars has a history of making their actors the same age as the characters.
Well, not I guess J.J. Abrams didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly, didn't.
Well, bullshit. Either way, that makes that kiss much creepier. Anyway, But yeah, so Palpatine gets it on at some point, late Republic, early Emperor. Actually, yeah, just late Republic, early Empire kind of times.
Oh no!
Will he
And
be
then
Monster Mash
has a son,
style?
and his son runs off specifically because he's like, oh shit, my dad's the emperor or whatever, and it sounds like he had him in secret, but he escapes, gets married, has a kid, and then
yeah, because the fucking Emperor can't track anyone down. Like he totally wouldn't be able to find anybody.
Well, I don't know if he
Galaxy's a big
find
place.
him. I don't know if he. Yeah, I mean, he did go to a super remote planet, and I also don't know if it's obviously he could find him, but maybe he just didn't care to.
Well,
necessarily.
yeah, but you're remote, but like they found Hoth with the probe droids and shit.
I know, but I'm not defending it necessarily. I'm just trying to give an inward. I'm trying to fit it in.
And yeah, like how it could, yeah. Because that was just, and it seemed like such an excuse, like, this is how Rey is so powerful. But then the reveal, because everyone's been like, what is it? What is it? And when they finally reveal it, you're like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me? You know?
Yeah. It's a dumb way to do it. But also, I think it's fine if just a random person is super powerful in the Force. That's how you get powerful Jedi to begin with.
All of a sudden, she can, like, heal, which they could never do before.
Okay, that already existed in extended universe stuff.
Yeah, but not in the movies, though. Like, why didn't Obi-Wan do that to Qui-Gon and shit like that?
Qui-Gon?
Yeah, in, like, episode 1, why didn't Obi-Wan heal him?
Who's Qui-Gon?
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Who is Qui-Gon?
Liam Neeson.
Who is Qui-Gon?
See, I wouldn't have caught that. I would have never caught that.
Holy shit. So, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score for episode 7 is 93%.
Because they were paid off.
Episode 8 is 91%.
Because they were paid off.
Fucking insane.
Now,
and it's 54% for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's quite a drop. It's projected to clear $1 billion in the box office.
But these things are still making money.
Yeah.
That's why
Force Awakens did $2 billion, I believe, and Last Jedi did 1.3 or 1.2 billion, so projected to fall short of that, which is quite a drop off from episode 7 to 9. But I guess $1 billion is still $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's mostly that people realized this thing wasn't really going anywhere, and now they're disappointed.
Well, and, you know, like, I was being a little dramatic, but it just kind of pisses me off. Like, this is like machine assembly line. There's no emotion behind this. There's no nothing. There's no humanity behind these movies. There's not all that same shit that made the original so good, and that's why we like Star Wars, because of shit like that. None of that's present. And none of that is going to be present in any of these Disney projects, which are just made for shit like that. And I even get the same feeling when I watch Endgame, when it was just a machine product instead of like good, genuine movie.
Oh, I would argue that Endgame had way more heart in it than
it
of
did.
these three.
No, obviously it did, and it was more fun. But I didn't like that movie, and I've explained why.
Yeah.
But because I hate time travel and other reasons. But I don't know. It's just like it's machine product, and now they just keep making all these movies just more product, assembly line bullshit.
Do you think? Because obviously the original Star Wars was done by George Lucas, and it was what he created, and it was his passion project. Do you think?
Now, I will amend that statement. There's George Lucas and a bunch of other people.
There was other people.
His ex-wife.
Yeah. There was other people, obviously more talented writers and producers and all that kind of stuff who helped steer the ship and make the original trilogy what it was. But none of, like, J.J. Abrams was not involved in it whatsoever. Rian Johnson was not involved in the creation of Star Wars. Do you think part of the problem is that it's because it's not someone's own work?
Well, yeah, because it's fan fiction.
Don't feel so passionate. Yeah,
because it's fan fiction, you know, and yeah, that's exactly it. It's the same with all these things. It's people who are fans of it, you know, it's their kids, whatever, making their own movies now of this thing that they like so much, but it just lacks.
Better if you
that's
got
why the extended universe always had its own, like, weird flair. It was always much stranger and never quite, you know, right, to use it, lack of a better term. It's not springing from the same well.
I feel like stuff like that, though, that was made in like the 80s and shit, it came from a place more of passion instead of this, which is just a place of making as much money as possible and manipulating people for their nostalgia. That's all this whole franchise is now, is manipulating people for nostalgia. And it feels like in the 80s and shit.
Obviously, with the first one, you know, George Lucas did not know he was going to succeed, and he was also, with the entire original trilogy, working with limitations.
Yeah.
Once you got around to the prequels and these, there's no limitations, and no limitations makes for bad movies. When you're limited and you have to be creative to get around such things, you make better movies. That is a tried and true fact. We've seen it time and time again.
Because again, there's no genuine human emotion behind movies like this and all these other, whenever they resurrect all these other properties and shit, there's nothing behind it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll admit, like, you know, Force Awakens, you know, it did get me in that regard. It got the nostalgia going. It manipulated me in that way, you know, I'll admit that. But now I'm just fucking sick of this shit, you know?
So, not too happy with the conclusion. The climax of the story.
It's not even a climax. It's not even a story.
It's a bit of a letdown. Although
it's not even a story.
I will make a claim. Roughly maybe this time last year, when the first trailers dropped, or beforehand, whenever it was. It was when we reviewed episode 8. I made a claim that Rey would get a double-bladed yellow lightsaber. Now, she did not get a double-bladed yellow lightsaber, but for a bit she had a double-bladed lightsaber, and she did at the end of the film get a yellow lightsaber. So I'm going to say...
Calling it good.
I'm calling it good. Called it!
Rules of close enough. That's okay. Rules of close enough apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
I can't wait for the next piece of, fucking, robot filmmaking that they pump out in 2 years.
Do you think,
I don't know.
Did they get anything right? Did they get anything right in episode 9?
Yes, they got some things right. I felt like the send-off to Leia was done appropriately.
Okay.
They only used existing footage, as for the most part, I think. There was a scene at the very, very end where, Rey goes back to the original Luke homestead to die, I guess. But she has a vision of Luke and Leia staring at her from the sands, and I don't know if that was CGI or not. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
And
I felt like that worked, though. Like, I didn't... The bad part was when they just had CG young Luke and Leia for like a split second.
That was the other thing, because they had a CG scene of young Luke and Leia, but it was super darkly lit, so I don't know if Leia was CG'd or not.
I thought it was grotesque like Rogue One. I didn't like that.
But that's a bit messed up. But I think that was kind of it, because like when, obviously, you know when you're seeing Carrie Fisher at the beginning of the movie, it's Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
And then later on, when she actually is dying, they have an actress playing her, but she's entirely cast in shadow. She's basically in silhouette. So it was clear that this was something they would have had Carrie Fisher do, but Carrie Fisher had passed, so they're using CG. Or no, they weren't using CG, they were just casting her in shadow, which worked. I will also say that while super duper rushed, no, actually that's a point against it. I think it's dumb that Kylo Ren, I think it's okay that Kylo Ren had sort of a light side moment.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool that he had like basically a conversation with his own memories of when he killed Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford showed up for a little bit. And basically it wasn't a Force vision, which some people
I was just going to say, is it a Force ghost?
No, it was straight up said by Harrison by the Han Solo there. It's going, look, I don't know your answers. I'm literally just a memory that you're playing.
Okay.
It might have been Force assisted, but it wasn't Han Solo back as Force
him.
ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the biggest surprise in this movie is that they actually got Harrison Ford to be in it.
Everybody's got a price.
And he did fine. He actually looked happy, which is a feat for Harrison Ford these days. But I think it was dumb that they killed Kylo Ren at the end. Yes. I really kind of just wanted him to wander off and have to deal with the consequences of his life.
Like what the fuck, this guy, like he had an arc, he had this and that, like they could have just been like, okay, we're good now, bye, see ya, and then just go. Instead he's like, nope, time to die. It's like,
Well,
what
it's
the fuck?
okay. None of these guys continue their contracts, so.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, everyone
exactly.
wanted to get the fuck out. There's that John
Yeah.
Boyega one where they're like, do we want this? Are you looking for a spin-off? He's like, nope.
Well-
He's just against that idea.
Yeah.
Wholesale.
That's just it. Like, they could have done way better with these characters, like Finn and Poe and stuff like that. They
I
could have,
really thought
like,
Finn.
fuck.
Yeah, I think that was a wasted opportunity because
Exactly.
what I liked in 7 was I thought Finn and Poe had good chemistry and they were fun on screen together.
They have
I
a
enjoyed
great dynamic. I want to see, John Boyega and Oscar Isaacs do other things together. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're good friends in real life, but
It
they
works
have
so
great
well.
chemistry.
Often,
They have
yeah.
great chemistry on the screen.
It worked so
Boys.
well, and then they were like, "How about we never have these characters together again?"
Yeah, that was my thing because I liked his chemistry with Poe, I liked his chemistry with Rey, and I wanted to see like those three together,
Yeah.
like for a long extended period of time. And I from the trailers I gathered that happens a lot more in Episode 9, so I think I liked that part because I thought maybe that's something that you build on, like
Right. We do get a lot more time of just the main characters being the main characters together, which is
Yeah.
something we didn't really get with 7 and 8.
If only, yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. Because it'd be like, I guess everything I've heard from Episode 9 is it's essentially a trilogy unto itself. Like it's 3 movies
Yeah.
condensed into one. And also, I guess he really did not like Episode 8, J.J. Abrams, and he must have been pissed off because he tries to undo everything, but that's to his detriment.
To be fair, I think J.J. Abrams liked the part I liked most about Episode 8, which was the weird trans-dimensional Force conversations.
Oh, the Force Skype calls?
Yeah, I love those. I think that's really cool. I liked how they could like pull things across the universe with it. I think honestly that's very cool. I really enjoyed that. Because
I didn't
my
understand
favorite
what was happening
part-
with them.
Okay, it's weird magic bullshit. Okay?
Yeah.
But just remember, the Force is a code word for magic.
Weird. Yeah.
It's just magic. That's all it is. Don't get so uptight about it. It's magic. It's just a hand-wavy, swoosh, 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 magic.
Because it's when Snoke said that he did it, I was like, so was he pretending to be Kylo? Was he just facilitating the call and Kylo knew what to say? Can he see where Rey is?
I think it's potential that the two were like, they weren't together, but then they were bonded. See, what I understand is that per canon, if we'll take it that way, is that when, obviously they're sort of like equal branches, more or less, of power. Obviously you get, Ben, we'll say, Ben is, / Kylo, is the grandson of, Anakin, who we will, for sake of the argument, say is the ultimate Jedi.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have Rey, who is the granddaughter of the ultimate Sith. So they're basically equals in the Force. And that in episode 7, when Kylo has Rey in the interrogation chair and goes fucking deep delves into her brain with the Force.
That bonds them together somehow through the Force.
It's a two-way street, basically, right? That's how Rey is able to come back. So,
see, how you've described it then is really interesting, saying the ultimate Jedi, who's a Sith, and the ultimate Sith, who is a Jedi in training. That'd be cool if they played on that more heavily.
Yeah, so basically, so when, Kylo's doing the mind reading thing, it's a two-way street, basically. He opens her into his mind, and it works both ways, whether you want to or not. And that is the reason that Rey suddenly becomes super powerful in the Force, is because she's getting like a super fast, Star Trek download of Kylo's existence. And that's the point, I think. That's the part where they kind of get bonded together, and the dyad, there's a term they use, they're a dyad in the Force.
Okay.
Which is a made-up word, but you
are a dyad.
Basically, they had equal potential, and then he basically imparted his own training onto her accidentally.
Through some Matrix shiz.
Matrix shit.
Shenanigans.
It's just magic bullshit.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say I'd like if they played on that idea a bit more, like the Ultimate Jedi, but he's fell to the dark side and vice versa. But then obviously they didn't know that Rey was going to be Palpatine's daughter until episode 9, so
obviously not. Again, if this whole thing had like a, planning from the beginning,
who would have known?
It's just so disgraceful that they treat the franchise this way.
It is baffling, to be fair, when you've been handed a very big franchise like this. Like, what? I'm always curious, because it's, what's her face? Who was the overseer, the producer? Was it Kathleen Kennedy?
Kathleen Kennedy, yes. She is in charge of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, she was like the executive producer, I think, on all 3 films. Don't quote me on that, but I
believe so, because I think she's basically in charge of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, so she had a big hand in this. And I just don't understand what the benefit would be to go, we're going to have 3 different directors. They're not going to compare notes, not going to work on it. It's not going to be a collaboration. They're just each going to do their own standalone film in a trilogy. And it's going to be great. It reminds me of those, do you know when we, ages ago, used to play like games on here, and we used to play that word game where you would say a word and pass it along? It's kind of like a massively expanded version of that. Where it's we're going to come up with a Star Wars plot. The Emperor came back. Now you go, Manimal, add a line.
No, yeah, one of those.
It's, and I don't understand the thinking between that, because is that, going to make it more exciting? Because it's just going to fuck it up. Because this isn't the kind of franchise that you can get away with.
Who cares when it makes $1 billion every time?
I guess. Because you can do that with something that's more, I don't know, imagine if they went, we're going to remake Pulp Fiction, but each of the segments in each story is going to be its own standalone film. And we're going to get different directors on each one, and it's going to have a different tone and a different, feel and, different writing team behind it. I could kind of see the logic of that, and go, okay, well, you want to mesh these and see how they work together. Okay, fair enough. But for one cohesive story, especially one as important as Star Wars, for just money making from business, from that perspective, it's one of the biggest franchises out there.
It is the biggest one.
Well, yeah, probably. Well, like you say, every film's made over $1 billion in the new trilogy, and that's with people panning them by and large, not too well received. So, it shows how big they are. It's weird. I'd love to know what the reasoning behind that was and why they thought that would be a good idea.
So you don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. And then they had the Benioff and Weiss from Game of Thrones who were making their own trilogy, but now they're not making their own trilogy and they've gone to Netflix to do something else instead. There was rumours of Rian Johnson having his own trilogy. I don't know if that's still going on.
How about just stop this shit?
Just stop making trilogies. The Mandalorian's the way forward.
The Mandalorian was good, actually, and we're going to have a whole thing about Ian McGregor running around, just wandering around the desert like a madman.
Then let's do that. Let's have these TV shows then.
See, there's a lot less, I think, pressure on the TV shows,
yeah,
honestly, and that's going to work in their favor.
I think you've kind of done the galaxy-spanning, hero of destiny versus the ultimate Sith evil. You've done that in the main branch.
And it's like, in these movies, they can't do anything unless we got things that destroy planets.
Yeah, the fact that all of the Star Destroyers had a giant planet-destroying penis.
Yeah. What the fuck? Like, is that it? Is that what's the idea here?
Gotta have a planet-destroying weapon.
Star Wars shot itself in the foot with its name alone, because there's always got to be a war in the stars, which means the galaxy will never know peace.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you couldn't have Star Wars era of peace and it's a whole movie where they just go for dinner and stuff.
Yeah, but I like the idea like The Mandalorian, where you focus on I think a TV show would do really well of following some Jedis. Obviously you'd have to go into the Old Republic then, but following them, more smaller scale, following them on missions and that kind of shit, and having their own little qualms and stuff.
There is a new movie, at least a new movie planned that is just what the term I've seen is High Republic as opposed to Old Republic, but basically several hundred years before the prequels.
I'd be down with that. Explore that kind of history.
How about...
Because you can do anything at that point, and nobody's going to give a shit, because it's not going to be fucking with the original trilogy. It's just going to be, hey, whatever.
Make something good and make me not feel jaded about this anymore. Please cure my soul.
Yeah. Because I am sure, because the universe that you have of Star Wars, you can do anything. It's a galaxy, it's got aliens in, it's got space travel, it's got lightsabers and the Force and, laser weapons and all this kind of shit. You could put fucking anything in there. Like you say, the Force is literally a byword for magic. You can do whatever the fuck with the Force, you can have whatever monsters, can just call them aliens, you can do any kind of plot point you want. There's planets of slaves, there's planets of, savages and sand people and all that kind of shit. So you have carte blanche to do whatever you want. I just think they need to do smaller scale. Maybe a fucking planet's in danger. Not the entire galaxy. Do you know what I mean?
They need to
in a little.
They have an escalation problem.
Yeah.
Power creep.
If you have Emperor Palpatine, the ultimate Sith Lord, who can literally blast a fleet of starships with lightning from a planet, from the ground, going out into space, what the fuck are you going to do to that? Well, obviously you get Rey involved, but
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this, and what I proposed, which I think would be fun, is just like a fighter pilot series. Just like a series focused on the fighter pilots. Do it fucking Top Gun style, for all I care.
Rogue Squadron was cool.
Yeah, because in the movie, Wedge Antilles does show up for a little bit. The actor shows up, has a little cameo moment there where he's in a spaceship.
Poe was cool. Doesn't have to be a Jedi either.
Yeah, but hell, even we can roll it back, put it during the actual original trilogy, and just have them here's a squadron of dudes. They're fighter pilots or whatever. Or even roll it back earlier than that. Do it during Clone Wars. That's good.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of shit in the Clone Wars. You can just call it, hey, it's another battle in the Clone Wars. It's fine. We have a whole series for it, but that's mostly about the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do literally anything. It'd be interesting to see what they'll do next. I guess then to round it out, final thoughts and takeaways for the film itself then, guys.
It was not good. I mean, I was exaggerating, it's not the worst thing of all time. It's just a testament to how disgustingly mishandled this shit assembly line bullshit is. And it's just, it's made me jaded about everything, including Force Awakens and all this shit. And anything that Disney does now, I'm just like, fuck you guys.
Disney,
it just shits. It just takes a shit right on me.
We can only hope that at some point Disney will be taken down by anti-monopoly. I don't know who.
Star Destroyer.
Anti-monopoly Star Destroyer, and we can get back to having people and just not making Star Wars movies. I don't think it's not healthy. Let's keep making Star Wars movies.
This is the world. This is the world we live in, lads.
It is. When Mickey Mouse just comes and fucking takes a dump right on your head.
Yeah, and they just gotta bring everything back. They gotta do everything. How long? There's a fucking time bomb ticking before they do Back to the Future like this and shit. That's like the one thing that they haven't touched yet,
Yeah, they really haven't touched it. I wonder why.
Waiting for Michael J. Fox to die.
I guess they made a game and shit, but you think about all these movies, they've done everything. They've literally done everything except for Back to the Future when it comes to these big properties of its time and all that.
I mean, this is the era of the really, really, really late sequel, so find out.
Hey, at least the Terminator franchise hasn't been rebooted, right, guys?
The Terminator franchise was already screwed.
The Terminator
They only waited
franchise
10
ended
years to
after
make
the
a
second
sequel.
movie.
Yeah, they only waited 10 years to make a sequel, and they fucked it up majorly.
Like Terminator 3 doesn't even exist. The second one was
No.
there's only 2 Terminator movies.
Yep, and there was never a series about it or 3 other movies for people forgot about.
No, there was just
There's only these 3.
There was just that one.
Terminator 1, 2, and then whatever the last one's been called.
Like, what a joke. Like, what a joke of a world when something like Rambo Last Blood. That sounds like, it's like we're living in a parody world. You know?
No,
like
we are.
What a joke. What a joke.
It's eventually the bubble will burst, right?
Please, I'm waiting for this shit to happen.
We're starting to see it with the Marvel butter already. We're all kind of tired of Marvel films at this point, right? It's not going to last forever. Eventually it's going to burst. And I don't know what's going to happen, but we've had sequelitis for the last,
franchise-itis.
15-year franchise. Well, Marvel movies proved
anime
the franchise
adaptations.
I can't wait.
That's what's coming next.
on.
That's the next era.
Yeah.
We got that DVC movie coming.
Oh,
Yeah?
Fuck.
Testing the waters with video game and anime. Can't wait. Sonic the Hedgehog coming.
Just what a. I just got nothing to say anymore about this.
Well,
Fair enough.
Let's wrap it up then.
There you go. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, or Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise
of Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalkers. You once more the Sith will rule the galaxy.
Oh wait, I gotta call this out. They did get a Return of the Sith reference in there.
Did they?
Return
Yes,
of the Sith.
Right. Well, all right. So the Return of the Jedi was originally called the Revenge of the Jedi.
As we know.
Right. But then they were like, well, that's a little dark, so we'll call it Return of the Jedi. And then later on, we got the Revenge of the Sith, but now we got the Return of the Sith. So eventually, we will have a Revenge of the Jedi reference. Or a Revenge of the Jedi movie. And the circle will be complete.
Then it'll be okay. I think we will. I can't wait for that. That's my prediction for the next trilogy. It's gonna be set 10 years after this.
Oh God, no! They need to stop going forward in time.
No, that's what's gonna happen.
Oh, that's a mistake, man.
I can't imagine now going to the movie, going to the show to watch a movie like this and actually just watching a good movie. Like, I can't imagine this. Like, when's the next time I'm going to see a movie? Sonic. And it's going to be shit, obviously, but it's going to be fun. And like, now this is all what it is, you know?
You need to get into horror films, my friend.
I don't like
I'm sure there'll be some good movies coming out. I don't know, but
well,
don't know what.
Because horror really is the genre of the original film still. Yes, I know it's a joke how many sequels a horror film will have. But every year, you get 3 or 4, honest to God, never before seen, never before imagined horror films.
Yeah.
Maybe now that I'm watching all these old movies, I feel like some kind of like boomer or born in the wrong generation type who's like, the movie, they just didn't make things like, they don't make these kind of things anymore. Now, because now I'm like that too. I don't even want to watch like 90s movies, you know?
It's a cycle, man. It's a cycle. It always comes back around, okay?
But
so
that's the thing. When you watch the old movies, they were actually so much better than they actually were.
I don't know if they were actually so much better because they're still good movies, and there was a lot of crap that came out then too.
Well, that's just like
only the good ones endure.
When you look back at any time period in music and movies and anything, you only think of the stuff that is good or so bad that you remember it.
The cream rises to the top, all right? I mean, if you think back, like 1968 or whatever, some of the best music in the world was getting made, and do you know who was number 1 that year? The fucking Archies, a band that didn't even exist.
Well, that's just how it goes.
That's how it be, man. That's how it be.
Exactly, man. In 20 years from now, nobody's going to remember, a fucking Ultron or Age of Avengers. It's going to be, I don't know, whatever. It was a good movie that came out this year. Midsommar was good. I'm talking out my ass, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm with you. Fuck, imagine when Infinity War's like 20 years old. That's going to be pretty crazy.
Man, those Avengers movies are gonna age so horribly. Oh my
reckon?
god. Yes.
Oh, well, mostly because of CGI, I think. The CGI is going to age like milk. It always does.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that it's just going to be a different world.
And like it's just those movies are gonna age so bad.
Yeah, when they're all subtitled in Arabic because we've been defeated by the mighty Iran.
I don't think. It's gonna be fine.
Do you reckon we'll meet up on the battlefield if we're all drafted because we're from 3 different countries?
Had to.
I think, Bacon, you're too old to be drafted. I'm not saying
I'm
anything
29.
Yeah, but like, let's be honest. You don't need that many actual soldiers to fight a war these days.
Nah, fuck that.
It's all robots.
But they have seen my KD ratio in Call of Duty, so I'm just saying. Ministry of
Yeah.
Defense.
If you're drafted, you're going to be behind the controller of the drone. Probably.
They just saw that I got a 8 times multi-kill.
Imagine being there and getting an 8 kill and not being able to call them drone striking.
Yeah.
Like, fuck!
Why can't I
call boys, I need a VTOL. Someone get me one.
I need the
Where's the UAV?
UAV inbound.
They better have a UAV.
Can I get the spy plane? I need to see them on the radar. Imagine in an actual war, like they actually had UAV technology, but they just punished they punished the soldiers by like you have to wait till you get 3 kills before we activate your radar for 30 seconds.
You don't get 3 kills. You don't get UAV.
So you gotta activate it for 30 seconds and that's it.
Yeah.
When you actually translate these things into real life, though, imagine like...
Oh, no, it's fucking horrible what you're saying right now. It's an absolutely monstrous thing to say.
It doesn't translate into real life, like,
No, it doesn't. There are people, man. If a war happens, it's going to be a tragedy. Let's just put it that way.
It'll be a tragedy. Tragedy of how many kill streaks I'll miss out on. Am I right, boys?
Lads. I need to call in the K9 unit.
Can't shoot them dogs, man. Can't shoot them dogs. They're just not going to work. What about when zombie mode comes out? That's going to be the big twist. Where you think you're chilling, and then all of a sudden, boom, zombies. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad times
Where's
for
the
all.
laser gun?
Okay, God. Anywho, we're not going to go to war. Don't worry, everybody. We're all going to be fine, and we're all going to love each other. Make love, not war. That's always my saying. My motto.
You invented that yourself. Very nice.
I did. That's my favorite.
Very,
very famous.
That you came up with that.
It's a very famous thing that I always said. So, yeah, we're going to end it right there because we've been going for a while.
Poet.
I am a poet, mate. I am a...
You're a real
lyricist.
Cosby.
So, have you just called me Bill Cosby?
Yeah, I said you're a real Bill Cosby.
Now, I don't see if you've seen the news recently, but that hasn't aged well.
Fat man scoop.
Oh, shit. Well, here's to 2020, guys. Hope you join us next week, and we'll be talking about the winter season and how that's kicked off and what's popping with all new anime, as well as rounded up with, Vinland Saga, Fire Force, and whatever else we were watching in the fall season. But until then, has anyone got any parting shots before we head on out?
Yeah, I got a new segment, but I gotta go get something, so just keep talking for a second.
Oh my god, okay.
Okay, we're gonna wait on that. I don't know.
New segment,
I'm tired and a little bit depressed now.
Oh, you'll be okay, Matt. Don't worry. Life's brilliant.
It is. It's gonna be fine. It's just, we need not to have a war. I don't think Iran actually wants a war. Real talk. Because the status quo is much more profitable for them.
100% serious. Nobody wants one. I don't think either side wants to really jump into anything.
I don't know if it was an accident or not. Honestly, that has not been made clear as far as I can tell. But nobody wants a war.
No one wants a war. Cooler heads will prevail. It's just like when North Korea and all that, the fire and fury shit. It'll blow over, I'm sure. And if it doesn't, whatever, we'll all deal with it. It'll be fine.
It's never as bad as you think it will be, or never as good as you hope it could be. But that's human existence in a nutshell. We've been doing it for a couple 100,000 years.
There you
Keep
go.
doing it.
Is this enough stalling, Manimal? I don't know what his new segment could be 5 seconds before we finish. Is he, I don't know.
Okay. So, as you know, in 2018, there was the Chuny Chronicles at the end of every episode. So you gotta think, a man is always in competition with himself. A man, they always say, you're only as good as the last thing, you're only as great as the last great thing that you've done, you know? So I said, I gotta break new ground. At the end of every episode, I am gonna make a song. But, here's the thing. Every episode, there's only gonna be one note. So every episode, I'll have one note. I'll start with one note, and then the next episode, it'll be 2 notes. It'll be that note and a new note until finally, at the end of the year, it's a whole song, and we'll see what the song unfolds to.
What the fuck? How is that gonna work? Is that gonna work?
Yeah. So I'll play a note right now.
Okay.
And then I'll play that note and another note in the next episode, and then I'll play those 3. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Until finally, it turns into a whole song at the end.
Are you going to write all this down so you know what
I got my tab paper right here so I can write it down.
Okay.
So this is the segment called the Manimal song.
An ode to 2020.
Ode to 2020. So here we go. Here's the very first note, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fucking brilliant.
Now keep
tuning. Can't wait for this.
Keep tuning in tune in next week for the next note.
Now, my question is: are you going to play every note in sequence until the end of the year, or is that going to drive us insane?
Oh no!
I mean, like tomorrow, tomorrow, whatever. The next time we record, are you going to play the first note and then the second note?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so it will come together, so you could hear it come together in every episode.
Okay.
I don't know if this is going to be great or annoying as hell.
So just remember, everybody, that first note.
Hold on to your hats for that one next week, guys. Thank you for listening. Take care.
See you, everybody. At the end of this episode, it's going to be the end of the episode. Goodbye.